Hi, it's Claudette from Claudette's Cards, back to show you some tips and tricks on how I did my doodle flowers. In that last video I showed you the picture of the canvas with the doodle flowers and the fairy door, and I wanted to show you some of the things I used that I had. I didn't have these at that time. These I just got from Hobby Lobby. These are what Sarah used. They're only $3.99, but I used my coupon, so it was even cheaper than that. But I want to show you, even without this, what I used when I didn't have anything. I basically used some die cuts. This flower die cut packet I have, and I used this one for the middle of one of the flowers, and you'll see when you look at that video again. And this was another center I used, and I even think I used a tinier one. No, I guess that was the tiniest. And I used one of these too. So that was really fun. And then for the stems, I used my embossing folders, because you know I did cards, so I had a bunch of these embossing folders, and the ones I used for the stems was this one here and the polka dot one. You just basically take your sheet of clay on the setting of 1 or 3 on the pasta machine, or roll it out to like 1/8 inch thick, and just press the clay in there, press it down, and you're going to roll it with your rolling pin like this. In fact, I might show you on the thing I'm going to cut out next. I'll show you on one of them. Excuse me. I also did this Bonjour. This is just a white piece of clay, and I used my Bonjour embossing folder here. I just put the clay in here, pressed it down with a rolling pin so it made an impression, and then I just used these eyeshadows, Revlon. I don't know if they still make these. They're kind of a paste, and I just put those on there, and it made it made all of it colored. I used them all. Used it even in the ones that weren't raised. But look how cute that is. I might put that on something like this with some tiles around it, and I'll do a video on that. But I just wanted to give you some ideas with embossing folders, what you can do, and also die cuts. This is a little cookie cutter I also used on one of my hearts. Actually, one of the flowers, it was this smaller one. I got these for like $1.99. They come in 3 sizes. This size, the bigger one, this is also Hobby Lobby, and the smaller one. And I also wanted to say I left out the Unruly Housewife. Her video was what I did the fairy door. I used that video to do my fairy door. Today I'm going to show you how I did the round part of my doodle flowers without any cutters, because I don't have any cutters large enough to make like this circle, which most of my doodle flowers, the base was a circle about that size. So I'll show you that, and then what else was I going to tell you? Oh, I was going to show you these die cuts. Whoops. I'm going to try these out. Look how cute. I could make Cinderella kind of stuff. You just press it down in the clay, and then you use, either you want to antique it when you're done, like I did with the flowers, which they teach you in the videos to paint black or gray, dark gray over the tops after you bake the flowers, and it gets in the grooves of the impression that they make, and it makes it antique-y looking. And then I went over a lot of them with my chalk. I have like a white chalk marker, and I did some little doodling circles on the flowers. You'll see if you look at that video again. I got the bird that is in my picture. I used this die cut for the bird and just painted him, did him in blue clay, and then painted him with that fine chalk marker I have. I should show it to you, but I don't have it right close by. You know what I mean. Anyway, there's all kinds of stuff that you could make with these die cuts using the flowers. I mean, using the die cuts in your clay. Anyway, I have to retrieve my circle cutter. It's the top of a mayonnaise jar. It just fell on the floor, so hold on. Okay. So I have some white clay that I rolled out on the pasta machine, and I did this on a 1. Now you can also roll this out by hand. I have an acrylic block. You can get these very inexpensively at Hobby Lobby. You can use that and just make it pretty thin. I think that's like 1/8 of an inch thick. And it's kind of dirty. My pasta machine had some other colors in it, but I'm not worried about that. So what I want to do is basically push down with my jar lid. Move him out of the way. And also I'll tell you about baking and gluing on the canvas and all that kind of stuff. Okay, so, whoops, that's not what I want to do. Let's move that over a little. So basically you just make an impression, if you don't have a cutter large enough, and then I just take my X-Acto knife, get down here, and you just cut around that. Better put my glasses on so I can see what I'm doing. It's kind of hard to cut from this angle. That's why using a tile is so much easier with clay when you're working with clay. A tile or a mirror is good. I want to get some of those plain tiles though at Lowe's or Home Depot so I can just throw them in the oven too. I don't want to throw this one in the oven. Got this one at the Dollar Tree though, so it's cheap. Okay, so now what I did is just kind of smoothed out my edges. Whoops. I don't have a lot of tools because I'm new to clay, so you can get things to smooth out your edges. I just usually use like a paintbrush around the edges. You also want to get a blade, it's called a tissue blade, and I got this at Hobby Lobby also. And you're really going to need that. Or you can use a knife, but it just comes in handy if you're going to do a lot of things. So I just smooth it out with my fingers. I mean, these are Doodle flowers, so it's not going to be anything too fancy. I even thought about making these into bowls somehow. I might work on that and do a tutorial. Like little ring bowls or something. I don't know yet. It's just a thought in my head. Okay, so then what I was gonna do, oh, but let's make an impression just so you can see. So I really like this honeycomb one. Did I leave that one out? No, here it is. I did this the other day doing a pendant. So I'm just gonna basically put that in there. Hopefully I'm in frame. I don't wanna wreck this little guy. Let's put him over there. I don't have much of a work surface here, so bear with me. Okay, I'm gonna stand up again so you can see this. Okay, so basically I just take my end of my acrylic roller, or you could take anything, end of a rolling pin, jar, whatever you have, and just do this so it makes the impression in the clay. Okay, and you want to open that back up. Oh, that didn't do too good. So if it doesn't do it that well, just push it back down and redo it. You can also spray water on this so that it doesn't stick to the clay that bad. Yeah, the back side, I forgot to do the water. You just spritz your embossing folder with water, or you can do cornstarch. And then it won't be this hard to get it off of there, or you can use the blade. Okay, so now, see, you have this impression. Okay, just kind of smooth that up. And later, before I bake this, I'll get a paintbrush and smooth the edges better, or some kind of tool that has a round edge on it. So now, I wish I had some like red chalk paint. You know, you can get those chalk pastels, not paint, pastels, and you can rub that on here. But I'm just going to use, I think, what would go with this? Let me just see how that's going to look. What color do I want to bring out? I think bronze or the blue. Let's try the blue. So basically you just want to do this. Rub it all over. And there's a lot of tutorials using this technique too. And then if you got too much somewhere, you can just take a tissue or a paper towel and rub it off the areas where you didn't want it. Also, rubbing alcohol works good for that. But I'm not too worried since this is going to go in the center anyway. Now, since this is wet clay to wet clay, we're not going to have to use any liquid clay or bacon bond, it's called, to worry about the clay sticking to itself, because this will stay permanently. You don't have to use any liquid clay or anything. Once you bake it, it's going to adhere. I'm just going to do a little bit more of the blue, this one edge. And you can antique these afterwards too, like I said, with the black paint. That will bring out all the nooks and crannies. Okay, so now what you could do on some of mine, I made little, like if you didn't do the embossing, you could make little marks. Even so, I'm just going to show you little marks in the clay like this. This is a tool, but you could use a knife, an X-Acto knife, whatever you wanted. I mean, it's a doodle flower, right? This would show up better if I didn't show you that embossing folder, but I wanted to demonstrate how to use that. Still, that's kind of cool. And then you can go back over it with this eyeshadow, and it'll highlight those grooves. And you know what else I think I'm going to do with this? I'm going to highlight the blue on here too. You wouldn't even have to antique this one after baking. And depending on what you use this for, you can glaze it to set the eyeshadow. But if you're not going to wear it or use it for anything too crazy, you don't really have to glaze it. Ooh, I like that. And then for the stem, you would just cut a strip of white clay. And you don't even have to do a stem. Like this could be the top of a jar or anything, but if you were going to do a stem, you would just take this clay, roll it out, make it into just a straight, cut this. Of course, it'll be longer. Whoops, I better use the right side of my, oh, that was the right side of my blade. Be careful if you have a blade not to do that. Okay, so basically, this is a bad example, but say this was like cleaned up and ready to go. You could just put it in here and do your rolly thing again. Oops, on here. And you know what? I think it looks kind of cool. I'm just going to keep it. And then use your mica powder, pastel chalks, whatever you have. Not the soft pastel, but the regular chalk pastels work. Eyeshadow works. They have regular mica powders for this. I think they're called Perfect Pearls. And there's some other names, but look how cute that is. See? So then what I did was I baked them separately. And then I had some leaves. I just cut, I do have some leaf cutters, and actually I have teardrop cutters. I just used a teardrop cutter, made some leaves, which I'll do. I have to get more white clay out. Oh, wait, here's some. Okay, I'll show you. So basically, Sorry, this is kind of a sporadic video. Basically, I took that and I took my needle tool and I just went like this. And I did some haphazard leaf patterns. And then you're going to do this again. You could do this with the red clay if you wanted. Also, you don't want that much blue. So do a couple of these. And you can even cut those out, you know, without a little cutter. Here, I'll do a little smaller one. Usually I'm neater than this, but I'm trying to hurry. Just to show you. Okay, so once again, just, and of course you're going to smooth this out before you bake it. Bake it at the manufacturer's suggestion, which is usually 275. This is mostly Primo clay, so it's 275. I baked mine for about 40 minutes to a half an hour. It makes it stronger if you bake it longer. So here you're going to get this a little bit thick. If you wanted to put another layer, you could do that to make your flower pop up, or you can just leave it however you want to do it. I might do this on something like this, like you can get a piece of wood like this. I got this at Walmart. Paint it red, white, whatever, and then do your little doodle flower on here. Or you could even do your stem like that. It doesn't have to be behind it. So basically I baked these pieces and then I glued them with, I got some E6000 type glue from the Dollar Tree. I just used that. But basically that's just to show you how to do a doodle flower. And like I said, you don't need this. You could use die cuts, cookie cutters, whatever you want it for. Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm making a mess. For the middle, I'm trying to get this to show you. You know, one of these Dealy Bobs. And then I went and I actually got some flower cutters too. So you can, oh my goodness, I'm so sorry. You can get these, I'm a ding dong, at Hobby Lobby too. They come 3 like this for $1.99. So that would take out some of the work there for you. But you can also use your die cutters. Okay, so that's just some quick ideas for you with polymer clay. I'm having fun. I'll do some more tutorials and show you some of the jewelry I made later. Sorry for the mess and the craziness, but you know, that's how it is. Anyway, thank you. Thanks for watching. Check out more videos on Claudette's cards. Thank you. Have a great day. Bye-bye.